All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to take a look inside our own heads, to really understand the science of emotional control. We'll explore how a simple practice can literally change how our brain handles feelings, shifting us from just reacting to actually responding with thought. Okay, let's get into it.
I mean, you know that feeling, right? Someone cuts you off in traffic, you get that one stressful email, and bam! Before you can even think, you're just angry or anxious. It's like your emotions are totally on autopilot, hitting the gas before your conscious mind even has a chance to grab the wheel. Well, it turns out that feeling isn't just in your head. It is your head, literally. So that feeling of being pulled in two different directions, that immediate flood of emotion versus what you know is the right way to act, well, that comes from a very real tug of war that's happening inside your brain between two key players. So let's meet the team. Okay, first up, we've got the amygdala. Now, think of this little guy as your brain's ancient, super sensitive alarm system. Its one and only job is to scan for danger and slam that big red panic button. It is unbelievably fast, and here's the kicker. It doesn't care about context. It just sees something that might be a threat and sounds the alarm, flooding your system with all those stress hormones. And then, in the other corner, we've got the prefrontal cortex, or PFC for short. Now, this is the brain's wise executive. It's the newer, more sophisticated part of your brain that handles all the big picture stuff, planning, reasoning, putting things into perspective. Its job is to hear that alarm blaring from the amygdala and calmly say, whoa, hang on a second. Let's actually assess the situation before we flip out. And really, the key to this whole conflict, it all comes down to speed. The amygdala is all about that instant, automatic, emotional go. But the prefrontal cortex, it's much slower. It's more deliberate. So that tension you feel in the heat of the moment, that's the race. It's literally a race in your brain. Can your thoughtful, logical, wise executive catch up in time to calm down that lightning-fast alarm system? So for a long, long time, it really felt like we were just stuck with this programming, right? But here's the absolute game changer. We can actually train our brains. Mindfulness isn't just about, relaxing and zoning out. It's an active workout. It's like taking your brain to the gym to physically strengthen the exact part that keeps you calm and in control. And this is the core finding, right here. You can think of it like building a better communication line, a dedicated hotline, straight from your wise executive to your alarm system. And the more you practice, the stronger and faster that connection gets. It's amazing. So what's actually happening when we practice this stuff? Well, the science points to a few really clear changes. First, our little alarm system, the amygdala, it gets less, trigger happy. It stops freaking out over every little thing. At the exact same time, our wise executive, the PFC, it gets stronger, more active. And that better hotline between them, it just means the PFC can swoop in and calm the amygdala down way more effectively when it does go off. And I just love this way of thinking about it. Through practice, you're basically giving your prefrontal cortex a promotion. You're handing your internal wise executive more authority, a bigger office, a better phone line to manage that hair trigger alarm system. And the result? You get way more emotional balance. It's that simple. Okay, so we've talked about the neuroscience, which is super cool. But what does all this brain rewiring actually feel like? In your real day-to-day life? How does it change that moment when you get triggered? It really all comes down to one thing: creating a pause. Just a tiny little sliver of time. A space that opens up between that emotional trigger and your automatic reaction. And inside that space, that's where you find the power to choose. And this timeline here just lays it all out so perfectly. Before mindfulness, the path is a straight line, right? Trigger, boom, instant emotional reaction. But with practice, you insert that powerful pause. The trigger still happens, sure. You're still going to feel that emotions start to bubble up. But now there's a moment of awareness, a moment to let your wise executive step in and guide you to a thoughtful response, instead of just that same old knee-jerk reaction. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but you're probably thinking, how do I actually do this? Well, one of the most effective science-backed techniques is actually incredibly simple. It's a way to consciously engage your prefrontal cortex right when you need it most. It's called name your emotions. Step 1, just notice the feeling as it starts to come up. Step 2, and this is the crucial part, silently name it to yourself. But here's the trick. You don't say, I am angry. You say, I notice anger is present. Or, there's that feeling of anxiety.
See the difference? That simple act of naming and observing pulls the emotion out of the driver's seat, which immediately activates your prefrontal cortex, your wise executive, and helps turn down the volume on the amygdala's alarm. And this is such a powerful shift in mindset, isn't it? When you label an emotion like that, you're reminding yourself of a really important truth. You are not your emotions. Things like anger, sadness, anxiety, they're just like temporary weather patterns passing through. They are experiences you're having, not who you are. And that creates just enough distance, just enough space to respond wisely. So when you boil it all down, the science is clear. This isn't just wishful thinking. By understanding this little tug of war happening in our heads, we can use these simple practices to literally rewire our brains and build that crucial space for choice. Look, the power isn't about stopping emotions from ever happening. That's impossible. The real power lies in choosing how we respond to them. Just think about that for a second. What if you could truly, consciously choose your next emotional response? What would that change for you?